Up next on Unscripted Faith, I'm thrilled to introduce my special guest co-host for today, the always awesome Amy Schafer.
Wow, thanks, Angela. And I am so excited to be here. And I'm really excited for our guest coming up. She has a great first name.
She sure does. It's Amy. Amy Suzanne Upchurch is with us, and her story is unlike any you've ever heard. She faced a life-threatening pregnancy condition, not once, but multiple times. Find out how she was able to turn her pain into a purpose-driven business that is changing the lives of women literally everywhere.
Amazing. I cannot wait for that conversation. Also, when it comes to parenting, do you act more like a parent or more like a friend with your child? Arlene Pellicane is back with us today to share practical tips to help your household thrive with our Happy Home Survival Guide. I need it.
That's right, we all do. All this and so much more coming up right now on Unscripted Faith. Let's go. Here we go. Welcome to Unscripted Faith. We are so excited you joined us and welcomed us into your home, into your phone, into your iPad. I've got the amazing Pastor Amy Schafer with us today.
I am so excited to be here. I love talking to women, about women, women businesses, navigating all of the seasons of life. So This is going to be powerful today.
It's truly ladies' night here today, okay? Our next guest is an incredible woman of faith and resilience. As a wife and mom of 6, Amy Suzanne's journey has been nothing short of miraculous. After a near-death experience during pregnancy, she turned her pain into purpose, creating a faith-based wellness brand that's now helping women everywhere. Amy, it's great to have you with us today on Unscripted Faith.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's so excited to be here.
I mean, I don't know what viewers aren't going to know what to do. They've got 2 Amy's here today, full of energy and pep and helping us women. Let's go.
You can be Amy 1 and I'll be Amy 2 for today.
There we go.
Now, let me ask you, Amy, you had a very tumultuous experience getting pregnant and going through all of that. Take us back to that season of life. Tell us what was going on and what happened and how that ultimately propelled you into your now.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, you know, I think when I think back to that season of my life, the question I think about the most is, why me? Why is this happening to me? I feel like when we go through hard times, when we're being challenged, you know, we're always like wrestling with why. Like I grew up with faith. Faith is a strong foundation of who I am. But when you're going through something like, you know, whether it's a physical condition, mental, emotional, spiritual, you're why? What's going on? I don't get it. I don't understand. And so there was a lot of that just around my pregnancies. I had something called hyperemesis gravidarum, which basically 1% of pregnant women get. I was on a feeding tube, PICC line. It was a horrible experience. And through that experience, I really got to understand the why, and it had nothing to do with me at all, everything to do with what God was doing and how He was going to use this struggle in my life to be able to help other women all around the world. And I'm so blessed by the opportunity of just being challenged, but in the moment I was beyond frustrated and angry and confused and just at my wits' end with God and with the whole situation.
Wow. Let me ask you really quick, you said you had a PICC line. Was that when you were pregnant with your first?
Yes. So I had a PICC line. I contracted a Acinetobacter at one point. The doctors walked into the room, a team of doctors, and they told me I had 24 hours to live. I had, like I said, contracted Acinetobacter, which is a blood infection that was just pretty much taking over my whole body. So I was really struggling just to stay alive. I was about 24 weeks pregnant with my first baby during this time, and was feeling was feeling like death.
Wow. So how did you come out of that, Amy? Like, I can't imagine, given 24 hours to live, first of all, and what races through your mind in those moments. And then how did you come out of that?
Right. So I remember very clearly my husband at the time was training. He was in the Marine Corps and he was gone away. So a team of doctors walked in. He walked in behind them, just covered in mud. And the doctors just stood around my bed and looked at me and said, "You have 24 hours left to live, you and your baby." And it's, it's one of those things where it's hard to explain unless, I guess, maybe you've been told you have 24 hours to live. But I just had a sense of peace that came over me that said, this is just the beginning. This is not the end for you. It was such a calmness that I had. I just looked at the doctors and I said, okay, well, how do you know? And every minute was just I think a test of my faith in God of, 24, each minute that went by, it was, I passed the 24-hour mark, then the 72-hour mark. And I'm here today to tell you that wasn't my time to go, and that was just the beginning of a very influential time in my life that has laid the foundation for Pink Stork and for, being able to help women all around the world.
Amy, I know so many women right now that are struggling getting pregnant, infertility issues. They're going back and forth to the doctor. They're women of faith. They're women of prayer. What was like your next step on that journey? You're in a struggle. You're going through the struggle. And what birthed really Pink Stork? Right.
So with my fourth pregnancy, I did this a few times, this struggle. Finally. Yeah, I know. It took me a little bit. I was really wrestling with God, like, what is going on here? I wasn't getting it. I wasn't understanding why. And again, asking that why me. And I decided, you know what, like, I want to do something differently than I've done before with my body. And so I really started working with a team of doctors, and they were on board of like, let's try something a little more gentle. So it's a really simple approach of natural products, organic products, watching what you're eating and putting on your body. And I had an amazing fourth experience during my fourth pregnancy, and it clicked. I was like, I get it, God. Like, you're giving me these answers to be able to help other women who are suffering with their body as well. So it was like that fourth pregnancy really birthed for me not only my fourth child, but also this idea of being able to start a company that would come alongside women, help women understand, empathize with women, create a community where we can support each other to be able to face the challenges that we as women in all stages of life get to go through, when our bodies aren't working maybe the way we want or anticipated or need them to be, in order to just be our best selves to accomplish His mission, His work here on earth.
Wow. I mean, it is really amazing that through your fourth pregnancy, you then found this solution in organic products. And now you have over 100 products, Amy?
Yes, we have over 160 different products. So all stages of life, it started off with just morning sickness. That was what we really were honing in on. That was really important to me in the beginning phases. And now we do everything from, women of life in all stages of life. So it's amazing to see how God has continued to bless the company and be able to use it to help women just all around with their bodies.
Amy, so many times we walk into this studio and it feels like maybe Alaska, because there possibly could be some women here in that season of life. They're really warm and we feel like really cold. So we're talking about all seasons, menopause, everyone. So as I was researching you, I go right to Instagram because that's where we research. Our best research is on Instagram. But I noticed that at your company, you pray over the supplements, the vitamins, the teas, and send them out. What do you pray over women?
Right. I mean, it's the foundation of Pink Stork. It wouldn't be here without God. And so, products aside, company aside, that's not how I do business. This is all about using Pink Stork as a vehicle here on earth to accomplish God's will. And so I pray for our company, for our employees, for the women that receive the products, for the families that hopefully, are touched by these products and they get answers. There is a real element of spiritual warfare. And so that's what I'm praying for, is protection and grace and guidance for the spiritual warfare that we're having here on earth, and that God uses Pink Stork and myself and all of our employees to be able to fight that battle here.
So Amy, I have to ask you, you have products that are for women in menopause, they're going through cycles, trying to get pregnant, all of these various things. How did you really get started with it? Like, of course, it was this pain that was turned into purpose. But I mean, when I think about this, that is a huge to-do, going out, finding a lab. How did you get started? And then how did you continue down that path?
Right. So my background is not in business, never thought I'd be running a business or doing what I'm doing today. And it was really God that started. It sounds so maybe cliche, but I didn't know what I was doing. I stepped out on faith to really say, okay, if this is what I need to be doing, you will help me, do what I think is impossible here, God. And we very humble, starting on a military base in Washington, D.C. My husband was deployed. We, reach out to different manufacturers, go visit facilities, work with different doctors, just one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. God would slowly open doors. Going into Target was a big deal. It was like our second year into business. So God just started to open doors and grow the company. And I think it's all faith. It's all faith that He has a bigger plan and purpose. And I'm here just trying to do my best to make that happen.
What are you most excited for women today in 2025 with all of the research and science and, herbs and supplements and vitamins that we have available? What makes this exciting for you as a woman of faith?
I think that, women's wellness on a whole hasn't been given a lot of attention. And they also like to put us in like these categories or these, we'll just treat this, not getting to the root issue of maybe what's really going on. And so if you look at our bodies, they are very complex, and it's not just our physical bodies. I'm really excited about taking that holistic approach to health. So where are they at emotionally and spiritually and physically? Let's address the whole woman, her whole body. And that's how she becomes the best version of herself. It's not just fixing the physical, go take this supplement and then you're going to be, your best self. That's not what I believe. I think it's this holistic approach to wellness where you are focusing on the spiritual health, the emotional health, the mental health, and the physical health. So that's what really gets me excited about women's wellness and what Pink Stork is able to do to support women today.
I mean, I'm truly so thankful for your product and your emphasis on women, because I say it all the time. If men endured what we did for even a fraction of a moment, there would have been 55 innovations to eliminate. I think about when my husband, I'm going to go there. When my husband had his vasectomy, honey, it was a 15-minute procedure. He came walking out, smiling, hip-hopping a lot. He had a little bit of downtime. But here we are with antiquated tools, even in our delivery room. So can I make a suggestion, Amy? Can you start making the call to these female doctors, say, hey, let's do something about what happens in the delivery room. Can we not use tools from 1900 to deliver a child? It blows my mind to think how far behind women's health is, but you're taking that straight on. So let me ask you, do you have researchers who are on the front line or friends or family who are like, hey, listen, this right here needs to be addressed, let's go for it? Or how do these new ideas come to you?
All day, every day. People just like yourself. I mean, we tackle issues head on. I don't care where they come from. They need to be solved. They need to be addressed. So we have a Pink Stork team of experts that we work with, doctors, all different types of areas of women's health, naturopathists, pharmacists. I mean, you name it. And we gather issues from our customer obsession team, from, just conversations we're having with women, employees. People come up to me all the time and they're like, hey, can we work on this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And so, listen, I'm here to help women and help us become the best versions of ourselves. And it takes all of us together. It's a community, right? Like, we're building this community. I think we all need to support each other and addressing these dated, backseat issues that haven't been addressed and looked at for centuries.
Amy, since this is like a girl show right now, can I just say I love how you've done the 3 rings on your right hand. That's really cool.
Isn't
that cool?
Yes, it is.
I was reading Proverbs 31, and because of today, and it says she's a woman of strength and valor. So for the woman today that's watching that is not feeling strength, not feeling mighty valor, not feeling like they're okay, just something feels off, what would you suggest and how would you pray for them today?
That is a great question. I can sympathize with that. As I've been there, I would say, dig deep, hold on tight, hold on to your faith, and know that God has a plan in store. I think you have to have that faith over fear to be able to get into that next season of life. And you are on a journey, and this journey is not over yet.
Yes.
Come on, dig deep, hold on, we've got it. Amy, thank you so much for what you're doing. Truly, thank you for not allowing your pain to be wasted and turning it into purpose, because every woman now gets to glean from your journey and from what you're doing. Keep going, girl. Find them female doctors for us. Keep bringing out the products, the supplements. We need all of them so that we can turn this ice cold studio into a real mild temperature that works for everybody here. Thank you for being with us on Unscripted Faith today, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Amy.
Up next, are you more of a parent or a friend to your child? Do you ever feel like they're the ones calling the shots? Finding the right balance between love, leadership, and limits can be tough, but don't worry, we've got help. Stay tuned for my conversation with Arlene Pellicane as she shares practical wisdom on how to lead your child with confidence while still building a strong, loving relationship. This is a conversation you won't want to miss right after this break.
Anna, did you hear?
No, what?
Cornerstone Television hit 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
No way.
Yeah, and YouTube sent us this cool play button, silver play button.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, there's so much content on Cornerstone's YouTube channel. People can watch the shows on the air, or they can catch them later on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's right, at their own convenience. I was just watching Dashing Dish from last week.
Hitting 100,000, that is a great landmark. What do you think we should do to celebrate that?
Oh gosh. Oh, I know. We should dump 100,000 Orbeez over your head.
What? Orbeez?
Do you want a happier home? Author, speaker, and host of the Happy Home podcast, Arlene Pellicane, is here with us all week to share practical tips to help your household thrive with our Happy Home Survival Guide. Arlene, it's great to have you with us today.
Great to be here.
Listen, we have to ask the question because I see it all around me. Parent or friend? What is this? Where can parents engage a little bit more? And what is the healthy balance of being a parent versus being a friend?
That's right. So parent, You are the parent. Be the parent. Your child has a lot of friends. They get to meet friends. They get to be friends that play soccer with them or like dolls or live to draw. You know what I'm saying? You are not their friend. They need to meet their own friends. So parents, we are the parents. We, our kids, they only have, one mom, one dad. That's it. But they have other friends. So that's your role. So it's really good for us to realize we have a special role. We are not a friend. Now, as our kids get older, I have 2 in college now. I've got 1 in high school. Then you start shifting into this like friend, like you're coming alongside. And then as they become 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, now you're shifting. You're always going to be the parent, but you have more of that feel. But when they're little, they're 5 years old, they're not your friend, they're your daughter. So yes, parent, please.
I think that's really good because I don't know if people just maybe struggle to recognize that, like, it's okay. Your daughter or your son isn't being damaged by you being a parent. It's actually more damaging if you don't enforce the boundary lines, if you don't show that you care by giving rules and restrictions and consequences. So Arlene, what are some things that people can do as a mama or as a father that they can do to ensure that they are truly holding on to that parental role and not slipping into this friendship way too early?
Yes. And it is the idea, do I want my children to be blessed? Of course I do. Do I want them to do well, to live long on the earth? Yes, of course I do. Well, that's a commandment. It's the first commandment with a promise to honor your father and mother. And if you are too soft with your kids, too much like you're catering to them, right? Like they are the leader and you're the follower, and it's really hard for honor to happen in that context. And so it looks like, you want to go out and they want to stay home. And you're like, no, get in the car. And then you think, well, they're throwing a fit. I don't want to do that well. I don't want to hurt their feelings. No, you got to say, no, I'm the parent. And I said to get in the car. So it is helping them to learn how to honor you. Because if they don't know how to honor you as an authority figure, and I know authority, it's like, oh, that's a bad word. It's really a good word. It's this healthy, loving, warm authority. I'm not talking about like, Captain Von Trapp, everybody in line now, it's not what we're talking about. But warm, loving authority, they need that. They need that guidance. So then when they go in a classroom, they can respect the teacher. When they go to a job one day, they'll listen to their boss. And most importantly, in their relationship with God, that they'll realize God is not my peer. God is not only my friend, but God is my Lord. God is my King, and I have to submit to God. And if kids don't learn that in the home, you can see why we have a problem with our faith, that like, oh, God didn't act like a friend because he didn't do everything I wanted. So it's really like, it's pretty foundational.
It is so good because it is always communicating more to them than we realize. One of the things that I look around and I get so aggravated with, you mentioned honor, and I look at a generation that's being raised in this idea of, she doesn't want to speak to that adult. She doesn't have to, honey. Don't worry about that. We'll reduce other people down to just when we want to, and they're losing discipline as a result of it. They're losing honor. Scripture says we honor a righteous man, receive the righteous man's reward. Honor a prophet, receive the prophet's reward. And that's one of the things that I think we don't realize we're doing when we don't introduce them into this idea of honoring me as a parent, honoring other adults simply because they are adults, that they're actually missing out on their life. And if they can't give honor, they ain't gonna get it. You know what I mean?
And we want to teach our kids, right, to be caring. Like we used to go to Blue Dragon Martial Arts when the kids were all little. And the big joke was if the kids went, we have 3 kids, that the parents could go for free. So we were the only parents in the group, was all these little kids and James and I in the back. But we would notice we would talk to the other kids, right? And sometimes they would talk to us, but sometimes they wouldn't. And the parent would say, oh, they're just so shy. And so then the child grows up thinking like, oh, I don't do that. I'm just shy. It was kind of like a nice little excuse for them to not have to engage.
Yes.
But as parents, we can also train our kids, like even if you are shy, you're more quiet, you still can look at the person and say, nice to meet you, and shake their hand. So these are skills. These are skills, you practice them at home. Like, hey, we're going to church. I want you to talk to 2 adults and look at them in the eye and say, hello. Nice to meet you, and put your hand out. These are things we as parents, we can teach our kids, and it'll really help them and it'll really help us.
Yes, Arlene, I couldn't agree more. Like, I feel like we're doing so much more damage by not challenging them and pushing them into these spaces of, make eye contact. No, you don't get away with not responding. You respond because that's the right thing to do. Do the right thing. And I love that you're pressing on that. Like, we need more of that. I coach basketball and softball and all of this, and I have girls, and I've noticed so much of the team tends to be quiet when they come, and they're shy and whatnot. But there is a demand I put on them, and I tell them, I need to hear your big girl bark. When I ask a question, I want you to answer. When I'm asking you to be vocal, because in the end, you can't walk around this world and be silent, or you won't get anything.
It's like, wait a minute, a girls' team silent? Like, something really is wrong, right? It's like, what is happening?
Literally, that's what I thought too when I was like, this can't be happening. Arlene, I cannot thank you enough. These tips are so good for us, and I hope that parents really walk away knowing you're the parent, not the friend. Step up, step outside of yourself so your kids can. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. And parent, just know God put you there, so be encouraged, be encouraged.
Yes, you got this thing. Listen, we have hopes, we have dreams, and we want our kids to achieve all that they've got. So these tips, they're for you to not only help you to survive, but also to thrive.
What a great conversation. Do you have a happy home? How are you feeling today as a woman, a grandmother, a sister, a mother, a daughter? I mean, so much to unpack today, but here's what I know for sure, that He is the Lord, He is your guide, He is your shepherd. You hear His voice, you will follow His ways, and He can lead you and guide you, Angela, through any hill, any valley, and He will lead us to green pastures where we can eat and be refreshed in our soul, get wisdom for parenting, wisdom for being a woman, and whatever else we need.
Yes, that's right. He always holds the keys. He is the answer. And I love that even sitting down with Arlene and talking about these difficult moments of parenting an adult versus a child and really creating those boundaries is so important. And I love that Amy, in all of her creating of a happy home, she found a way through her pain into purpose. I think that was so powerful.
Huge. Yes. Well, most people just stay in their pain and they don't get through it onto the victory side and then to take it another step and to help others. But I am a huge proponent of happy. Happy gets a bad rap. But I believe that God, it's joy. It's a deep fruit of joy that God wants you to have a happy life, a happy home, to be well in your own skin and in your own body. That is God's desire for us.
Yes, I love that, Amy. I love that happy, that joy, that we can truly say it is well. How can we say that when storms are raging around us and our house seems like it's falling apart? Because it is well in Him. Our hope is not on circumstances. It is in the Creator of all creation. And He has purpose, promise, and a future full of joy for you today.
Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.